The Unbreakable Heart. Ilara lived on a green hillside where she spent her days with her family's goats. The air smelled of wild thyme and the sun warmed her cheeks. But one day, the world changed. A great carriage with golden wheels came from the city below, and Ilara was taken away to serve in the great palace. The palace was a place of high walls and whispering secrets. The king's chief steward, a man with a stern face and robes as dark as a raven's wing, inspected all the new arrivals. He saw Ilara's quick mind and quiet grace. "She will learn," he said, and she was brought inside. Ilara learned the ways of the palace. She learned to speak the palace language and to move with silent grace. She learned to listen more than she spoke and to watch more than she acted. She was like a quiet stream flowing through the busy palace gardens. Years passed, and Ilara grew into a young woman. The king noticed her quiet wisdom. He would ask for her advice, not on matters of war or law, but on the small, important things. "What do the people need?" he would ask, and Ilara would tell him what she had learned from listening. Soon, Ilara gave birth to a son. She named him Kian. He was a bright, curious boy with his mother's eyes. In the palace, a son was a great treasure, but also a great worry. Ilara knew that the palace walls could be a cage for a boy with so much light. As Kian grew, the cold winds of the court began to blow. Other people in the palace whispered and watched. Ilara knew she had to protect him. She taught him to be clever, to be kind, and to be strong. But she knew that to truly be safe, he had to leave. One night, under the cover of darkness, Ilara arranged for her son to leave the palace. He would join a caravan of merchants, traveling far away to a distant land. It was the hardest thing she had ever done. "Be safe, my son," she whispered, "and never forget who you are." Years turned into decades. Ilara remained in the palace, her influence growing like a quiet vine. She used her wisdom to help others, and her words were heard far beyond the palace walls. She never saw her son, but she heard stories of a brilliant young man who had risen to greatness in a distant land. One day, an old illness came to Ilara. She lay in her bed, her strength fading like the last light of day. She thought of her son, and she felt a deep peace. She had done what she had to do. Then, a voice, "Mother?" A tall, strong man stood in the doorway, wearing the uniform of a great general. It was Kian. He knelt by her bed and placed a small, carved wooden goat in her hand. "You taught me to be unbreakable," he said. Ilara smiled, her heart full. She had not lost her life. She had forged a legacy.